We want to get an update now on wheat disease. We're joined by Bob Hunger, our extension wheat pathologist. And Bob, you've been out and about around Oklahoma. What kind of things are you seeing?
Well, there's started to be that transition from stripe rust to leaf rust. Spent quite a bit of this last week in south central, southwestern Oklahoma, and you can see where stripe rust has done damage to susceptible varieties, especially if a fungicide was not used. In cases where they had a susceptible variety and a fungicide was used, the wheat looks very good, and of course the moisture is much better this year than it has been.
You have some examples here in your research plots, kind of show and tell for us.
Okay, yeah, this is a good example right here of where stripe rust has hit a susceptible variety. And if you look closely at the leaves, you can see, especially on the top part of the leaves, there's still some of the orangish, reddish colored sporulation of the stripe rust. But because the temperatures has warmed and the wheat has matured quite a bit, if you look at some of the leaves, you can also start to see, especially on the back side, how the orangish pustules are turning into black survival spore stage. And that means that the rust is starting to shut down for stripe rust. But in this case, the damage has been done, because if you look at the overall foliage canopy there, you see that there's just not near as much green tissue as there should be, because there's been so much stripe rust on this. And of course those leaves will die off quicker as temperatures warm up and time goes on.
And then you also mentioned leaf rust, and you have some examples to show us?
Yeah, leaf rust is in a different trial, and that's the disease that's starting to move in now.
Okay, let's go take a look.
Okay.
Bob, what are you seeing over here?
Well, in this trial up here, we have not very much stripe rust, and it's turned more into leaf rust. And there's quite a bit of this starting to show up in here, but it's going to get much stronger as time goes on. For example, if you look at this leaf here, of course this is the flag leaf up high, and you can see down here there's a little bit of stripe rust mixed in there, but the rest of the leaf has more of a brown colored rust on it, which is leaf rust. And this is what's starting to move in now, because it does better at a little bit warmer temperatures. So in comparison to the stripe rust, which is shutting down, the leaf rust is just starting to get activated now.
And then are there treatment options available at this stage?
Most of the wheat across Oklahoma should have been sprayed by now. The stripe rust that we looked at earlier, the wheat is past the stage where it could be sprayed, but also there's been such a heavy infection on there, it wouldn't do any good to spray wheat at that point. You really need to spray the fungicide before the rust becomes as established as it is on these plants.
And then anything else you're seeing that you want to talk about?
Yeah, there's a couple other things. If you look a little further back into this plot, you can see the yellow leaves right here in a spot in front of me and in the row behind me. And that would be barley yellow dwarf, which is a virus transmitted by aphids. And of course those aphids were here a long time ago, a month or more ago, and transmitted that virus. And so you start to have these little yellowish spots showing up in that. Now, in addition to the barley yellow dwarf, not here around Stillwater, but up in northern Oklahoma, northwestern Oklahoma, we're starting to see wheat streak mosaic virus, which is a virus transmitted by a mite, the wheat curl mite. And it can be very devastating and will show up more as temperatures increase.
And you have a fact sheet on that to help explain it more?
Sure do, on mite-transmitted viruses.
Okay, Bob, thanks for the update. We'll see you again soon. And for a link to Bob's fact sheet, go to sunup.okstate.edu.